Hello and good evening. We are going to discuss today a text which is which I have actually selected from one of the books, and I will try in this text to show you how I deal with it, or how you need to analyze a text when you are working on a text. And that is one of the most important elements that you need to look at in these texts, which I will definitely be looking at, and I will be investigating. Now, in terms of the texts, texts vary from one type to another, and I'm going to wait for a few minutes until I see some of the people attending, so that when we are, when I am actually speaking, I might be receiving some questions regarding some of this one. Hi, good afternoon. Ahlan Iman, Sabah Abdullah. You asked me for my email once before, and my email is ahmadkh61@yahoo.com. So what is required? Ahmad is spelled A-H-M-A-D. Yes, I do. I have seen you before, and you were trying to ask me to speak in Arabic. I do remember you very well, Iman. Now, what is related to today's talk? It will be relating to a text which I will look at, and I will show you how I will analyze this text. And if you have any questions about the text, please straight away say or ask about the text. I'm going to show you the text that I have come across, which is relating to a novel. And I've chosen a novel this time. Usually I don't, I check any other one. Telegram, I don't know what Telegram, how Telegram works. ما بعرف ما بعرف التليجرام. أنا رأيي قبل ما أكمل before I carry on بعتي لي إيميل، وأنا يعني ما بعرف أنا كيف التليجرام هذا بيصير. بعتي لي إيميل على ahmadkh61@yahoo.com, and then I will see if I can, or maybe you can have my number, which is 053 63 53 149 on WhatsApp. 053 63 53 149. Now, let's go back to the text that we will be discussing now. And the text is relating to a novel. Actually, one of my colleagues, she gave me the novel, and I have actually selected it to discuss today. Look at what I do to a text here. I'm going to show you now the text itself. Okay, here's the text itself, which I have selected. This text itself is really from a novel, and this novel, it's not important what the novel is, what the name of the author, because I don't want to publicize the author or anything. I wanted to really show you how I will deal with this kind of text. It says here, Wall Street, Manhattan, December 1985. The tawdry yellow cab was double parked at the base of Wall Street, where it intersects with South Street and East River. Colonel David Hudson leaned his tall, athletic body against its battered trunk. Now, this text had a nas, or this text, how do I deal with it first? You need to know that Wall Street, what is the significance of Wall Street? Why Wall Street? We know that Wall Street is for journals, for newspapers, and that. So therefore, we know that it is full of media. And in Manhattan, and that is another area in the US, and December 1985. Now, the tawdry yellow cab, yellow cab. Cab means, of course, it's a taxi. It's a type of taxi which is used, and it is double parked at the base of Wall Street. At the base means at the beginning of Wall Street, where it intersects between, or intersects with South Street and the river East Street. Now, it's the word it. What does it mean? What does it refer to? Does it refer to the cab, or does it refer to the street itself, the bottom of the street? Of course, it is the bottom of the street. Also, the word colonel. Colonel, some translators translate al-colonel, so they read the whole word. In English, you say colonel. You don't pronounce the first L. It's not pronounced. And when you translate it, you don't translate it as colonel, you translate it as al-aqid, which is a rank in the army. David Hudson, not Hudson, Hudson. So it was double parked. Double parked, first of all, the word cab. What is the word cab? It's a taxi, it's a kind of taxi. There's mini cab, you know. Mini cab is a cheaper kind of taxis. There's a black cab in UK, which is quite more expensive, basically because the drivers study for 2 years. What's called knowledge is a certificate they get after 2 years of studying. So now the word yellow cab, of course, they are referring to a taxi. So it was double parked, means not parked properly at the bottom of the street, and that street is connecting to another 2 streets, which is the South Street and East River. These are names of streets, you don't translate them. Okay, so he leaned his tall, athletic body against its battered trunk. It's, what is it referred to? Of course, it can be referring to the car, could be referring to the street, because it's either the street or the car. Of course, it is to do with the car. It's referring to the car. It's linking with the word car. So the trunk of the car, which is battered, which is really worn out. And tawdry, you need to know what tawdry is. So what do you do when you need to go to the dictionary like Cambridge Dictionary. You write the word tawdry here and know what it means, and then you decide that that's what it means, and therefore you take that meaning into consideration. Tawdry means of low quality and cheap. So that means the car is a very of low quality. Moving on to the next part. So now we seem to understand that that is the first paragraph. He raised one hand to his eye. He, of course, they are referring to the colonel, al-aqid yani, and loosely curled his fingers to fashion a makeshift telescope. منظار. طبعا منظار يعني telescope. He has made it into his hand. We need to usually imagine. We need to put it like this. In one hand, he was looking like this as a telescope. Makeshift means temporary. He carefully studied 40 Wall Street. Carefully studied 40 Wall Street, meaning he looked at number 40 in the street, and he has actually examined it as a building on the street where manufacturers Hanover Trust had offices. Then 32 Wall. Let me just show you 32 Wall, which means that he's referring to the building 32 Wall, which housed executive suites for more guarantee. So that is the building which is 32 يعني رقم المبنى يعني is 32 wall يعني Wall Street. يعني بمعنى آخر we are actually what we are doing here بنترجم 40 wall street بنترجمها المبنى رقم 40 which is the building, the number of the building in that street, which is number 40. And then number 23, which is the other number. And then the New York Stock Exchange. You see, it's telling us what are the buildings and what are these buildings that are in that street, one after the other. And he's looking at them with his hand in the shape of a telescope, منظار. So then New York Stock Exchange يعني سوق الأسهم في نيويورك and Trinity Street were church, Trinity Church, and then Chase Manhattan Plaza. So he's looking at all these various places. At 5 in the morning, the towering buildings were so as impressive and striking as monuments. It was 5 in the morning, quite early in the morning. يعني في الساعة الخامسة صباحا. 5 in the morning means 5 o'clock in the morning. And the towering buildings means very high buildings. They are towers. Were as impressive and striking as monuments. They are almost like monuments. And the feeling of history and stability was overwhelming. So you see, now we are analyzing the text here, and we're looking at how the text seems to be shaping up. Once he had it all vividly in sight, he had it visibly in sight. What is, he had it inside, the word it here is problematic. We don't know what that is referring to. So we need to be very careful about the word it. And then, of course, Colonel Hudson squeezed his fingers tightly together. Boom, he whispered. And that is really how we analyzed this first page of this text. Now let's look at the second page, for example, and see what the second page is telling us. This second page is telling us that the financial capital of the world completely disappeared behind his clenched fist. والعاصمة المالية في العالم اختفت تماما وراء قبضته المضمومة أو وراء قبضته. ويليامسبرغ بروكلين يعني هذه منطقة ثانية إذا يعطينا إياها أيضا is trying to introduce it to us as well. Seconds before 5:30. Seconds before 5:30 on the same morning. يعني إذا 5:30 in the morning, we know that the first page is telling us it's 5 o'clock. الساعة 5. Now it's 5:30 or about to be 5:30. Sergeant Harry Stemkowski, the man designated Vets 42, sped down the steep icicle slick hill that was Metropolitan Avenue in the Williamsburg section of Brooklyn. Here we are introduced to another character, Sergeant. Sergeant يعني رقيب. The man designated Vets 24 الذي كان he was the one responsible for Vets 24. Vets يعني veterans المحاربين قدماء. فرقة المحاربين بين القدماء رقم 24. نزل من الهيل يعني من التلة التي المنحدرة والتي عليها جليد يعني باردة جدا متجمدة. That was Metropolitan Avenue الواقعة في Metropolitan Avenue في ويليامسبرغ section of Brooklyn موجودة في Brooklyn. He was in a 9-year-old wheelchair. بمعنى أنه هو مقعد في هذا الكرسي منذ 9 سنوات. He is disabled for the past 9 years. وهو من إدارة المحاربين القدماء Queens للمحاربين القدماء. Veterans, they are old soldiers. Right now he was pretending the chair was a Datsun 28Z. Of course he's pretending that it is not, it's a good make. Silver metallic, هذا لون الchair, the color of the chair, with a shining tea roof. يعني للchair في له مظلة في شكل حرف التي. طبعا roof هنا roof, many translators I have noticed, by the way, many translators make a mistake in the word roof and they think it's ceiling. It's not ceiling, it's roof. Roof is different. Roof هو السطح and ceiling is the one under, which is سقف. And here, of course, referring to سطح. طبعا, of course, he's talking about the actual wheelchair. Then this wheelchair has got, different kind of cover or above it, so that it protects him from various problems or various elements, or from certain elements. Now, here, in the second part, let's go back to the text. He says, A-E-A. He let a banshee screech that pierced the deserted, solemnly quiet streets. إذا أطلق صيحة, made the street, يعني تفحيط, أخذ يفحط يعني تقريبا. وصوت التفحيط هذا ملأ شوارع الفارغة التي لا يوجد فيها ناس, الهادئة. Okay? His long, thin face was buried in the oily collar of a khaki fatigue parka, replete with peeling sergeant stripes. Here he is actually wearing some sort of a jacket, which is like a khaki jacket. It's a khaki means خاكي, يعني نوع من أنواع القماش. الفاتيج, فاتيج يعني المهترئ, والياقة oily, يعني فيها متسخة بالزيت, وعليها stripes, sergeant stripes, peeling, يعني السترايبس على الياقة, الخطوط على الياقة تأخذ يعني بدأت تتنسل أو تخرج من مكانها. And his frizzy blonde ponytail blew behind him like a bike streamer. وشعره الأشقر المتجعد, شعره الأشقر المتجعد يتطاير خلفه كما لو أنه زينة على مقبضي دراجة نارية. You can see sometimes some of these expressions, like for example khaki. Khaki is khaki, معروفة, khaki is khaki, وهو it's a well-known kind of the word fatigue means tired. There are words like bike streamer. Bike streamer is, if you don't know, you need to know, you need to check. You go to a dictionary like Cambridge Dictionary or Collins, and you check some of these. You can see that you need to research your topic. You need to research the words, the difficult words. You need to know what they are about, what they mean. You need to have a little bit of a mental image of what is happening in the text that you are actually translating. So if you don't have that, then it is very difficult to actually be translating. I wish that this kind of a small little text can help you in understanding that certain words that you need to research them, like the word trunk, for example. Trunk طبعا هي للسيارة بمعنى صندوق السيارة. لكن trunk also can mean خرطوم الفيل. خرطوم الفيل also is called trunk. So طبعا بسياق آخر, a different context. The trunk of an elephant is another element which you need to be aware of as well. So you have to be really researching them well as well. On top of that, of course, you need to understand that, for example, the word khaki is a kind of a dress which is usually used by military people. They wear it. In Arabic, it's called al-khaki, which is a well-known thing as well. So you need to see what you are actually translating is not only translating it word for word, you need to translate and understand what you are translating and link them nicely together as well. So that is really one of those things that you have to be aware of. I hope that this kind of exercise, which is quite a short one, I don't want to make it very long, but it gives you an idea of what kind of words that you need to search in good reference dictionaries, good references, using references to help you with your text to understand it. Have a nice evening, and I will see you next Friday.